Good morning, Wind Chasers. Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. Hey, here was a thought that I've had this week, and it's probably coming to me because with this last year of the pandemic, all the stuff going on in the political world, all the stuff going on now going on in our world. And I saw this on a YouTube, feed on my TV when I was watching. My wife and I don't have cable or dish. We just watch YouTube videos because I'm a knowledge junkie. I like to just learn and learn and learn. Anyway, I saw some preacher. I don't remember who it was, but he was talking about the title was "Christianity is not popular right now," and maybe it's not supposed to be. I don't know, but. I don't want to get into that, but this week I've been pondering a little bit about the idea of, so I hear it so many times, I just want to get back to church. I just want to get back to church. I just want things back to normal. And one of the things I find myself, I'm unsettled in some ways about church today. What it looks like, what are we doing, why do we do what we do? And that's not a bad thing. And those, Mark's losing his faith. No, I'm not losing my faith. I think my faith is going deeper. And here's what I'm sitting with. Are we building a church or are we building the church? Now, it's not the first time probably anybody's contemplated this. That has just come up for me this week. And realizing that church is different and we are different, working with a different culture. I have a practice on Sunday mornings when I announce the scripture that I'm going to read that I walk people through. I hold up my Bible. Okay, it's Matthew. It's here. You'll get there quicker if you start at the back of the Bible and roll forward and kind of help them find the way, because I don't want to assume that the people sitting in my congregation or watching on Facebook Live know their way around a Bible. Some of them have a Bible, but they prefer to use their phone, and that's an easier way to find what you're looking for, without a doubt. I still like a Bible. This old Bible is the old student Bible. I don't even think they make it anymore. So maybe it's a collector's item. But I can find my way around this Bible better than I can find my way around any Bible, just because I'm familiar with it. I know where things, about where things are at. And a smaller Bible or a thicker Bible, it can be just, yeah. So anyway, this idea of, are we building a church or are we building the church? One of the interesting things that has happened within my denomination in the last year is they have said you do not need to keep attendance records anymore. Wow. Talk about a blessing. Not that numbers matter, because people matter and numbers represent people. So I get that. But what do you count? What don't you count? Oh, should we count this? Should we count that? No, what do you count? And I can remember thinking to myself, how many people have we ministered to? Because the thing that would count would be Sunday morning worship. Well, what about the people that couldn't come to Sunday morning worship, or we can't count on Facebook Live? I love what one church leader was talking about is when you're looking at your analytics on Facebook Live, you can't go for the 1-minute views. That's like someone driving by your church and looking over it. You don't get to count them for your attendance. If they turn around in your parking lot and it takes 3 minutes, you don't get to count them as your attendance. You just know they just pulled in the driveway, whatever. It's the ones who engage. And so what do you count? What don't you count? And so it becomes this interesting issue that we become sometimes more concerned about the numbers than we do about people. I remember going to a pastor's retreat some years ago, probably about 15 years ago now. And it was right after Easter, and the district superintendent, as we call him in our denomination, was standing in front of all the pastors and their spouses who were there and saying, "No, now it's not about competition, but there's a list back there of Easter attendance from the highest attendance to the lowest." Wait, what? So here's the deal, folks, as I am in this pandemic and I'm trying to search through all this stuff, I'm becoming less concerned about building a church. I certainly want to see my church grow. I mean, it's more fun to preach to more people than it is fewer, and it's easier to do that. Especially when you're the funniest preacher you know. You want a bigger audience because, but anyway, I'm joking on that. See, there you go. Well, anyway, you'll get it. Yesterday, standing out in my parking lot, talking to a young man who comes to our church once in a while, but he works out of town. He's gone for a couple weeks at a time, and then he'll be back. May not be able to be there this Sunday, but I spent about a half hour with him out in the parking lot just ministering to him. That's building the church. The church. The church. God's church. Does it have to be either or? Can it be both and? But I find people say, well, what do we got to do to get people in? They're telling us, whoever they are, church experts, everything else, the people may not be coming back to our churches, at least for a while. But Jesus didn't say, put your sign out, put your shingle out, if you will. And I had someone one time change the sign at my church with a very bizarre name they wanted to call our church. And that got taken off really fast. I'll just tell you that right now. And with it, and their thought was, well, if we call it this, Pastor, then people will come in and we'll be able to minister to them. That's not Jesus's plan, if I remember correctly. I don't think he said build a building and get this really cool music and do this and do that and have all these effects. I don't even think he said just build a building and sing hymns and they'll just come. I had someone say to me one time, well, we got really good music. I don't understand why people aren't coming. I said, because we're not inviting. I said, how many people have you invited to crickets? Nothing, just silence. Jesus said, go to the highways and the hedgeways and all this stuff and compel them to come in. I don't know if we've done a good job at that. Well, I had one time a dear saint in my church, she said, well, I don't have any unsaved friends, Pastor. I said, well, then go get some. Go get some. And you should have seen the look on her face. It's like when you get on a plane, you pray, oh, Lord, let me sit next to a nice Christian person. And you say, Lord, give me an opportunity. I remember one time flying somewhere and there was this I don't know what they call it. It wasn't like a professional soccer team. It was, but it wasn't kind of thing. And they were there. I mean, I almost got intoxicated from their breath because there was so much alcohol in their breath. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, this is where Jesus would have sat. And they were all passed out. I couldn't even minister to them because they were all like, they fell asleep. But I prayed for him. I did what I could while I was there. But it's like, I didn't say, could you give me somewhere else because I'm a Christian. I don't want to sit next to these heathens. We're supposed to be building the church, not a church. And that's what we look for. When you go to an interview at another church, they usually pursue you, especially if you've grown your church a little bit. I want to grow the kingdom. I want to grow the kingdom. I was thinking about what Jesus said to Peter. He says, upon this rock, I will build my church. No, I don't think he was speaking about a papacy with Peter. I think he was saying, Peter, I need you to be a leader. I need you to help guide this movement. And so I find myself these days saying, all right, Lord, and I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't think we should say, well, we shouldn't. Are you saying we shouldn't build our churches, Mark? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's going to look different. I think we got to be ready for that. I realize now, being a televangelist, thrown into that in the last year, I have people in Virginia Beach who watch our services on Sunday. I have people in Florida, Arizona, Illinois, who watch our services. I don't know where else. I don't know where they go. I don't care where it goes. Doesn't matter to me. That's not my responsibility. Jesus said, preach the word, Mark. Preach the word. This very vlog, I have no idea where it goes. My producer tells me sometimes where it's at. I don't know. Hello, wherever you are. Glad you're watching. Thank you. Hopefully the church, I don't care if you use this to build the church somewhere else. Doesn't matter to me. We need to be focused on building the church. And when God gives us an opportunity to build the church, we need to take it. And we need to ask God for opportunities. Lord, give me opportunity to talk to someone about you today. Lord, could I be part of leading someone to Christ today? What a joy that is. I'm going to tell you that nothing will amp you up more than leading someone to Christ. I'm just telling you. It's a wonderful thing. I'm finding that that there's very meaningful a ministry that takes place in some of the most interesting places. At the most interesting times, when we make ourselves available to God, just say, here I am, Lord. Build, wouldn't it be beautiful if God said to each one of us, you're a rock I want to build my church on, a rock being part of the foundation of his church. Folks, let's not waste opportunities. When they come, and let's ask for them, let's step into them and do what God asks us to do. So, Wind Chasers, I'm going to leave it right there. Pastor Mark signing off. Thank you for joining me. Keep chasing the wind, Wind Chasers, because the wind is chasing you. Grace and peace.